Good evening and welcome back to episode 9 of the Pipe and Tobacco Talk podcast. I'm Jim with Emerson Southern Forged. With me as always is Tim Beaumont. And Tim, could you read our special announcement?
I'll be happy to. Warning, this podcast will expose the listener to offensive, insensitive, off-putting, and otherwise socially unacceptable content known to the state of California to cause cancer. To avoid injury, the sponsor of this podcast suggests that you grow a pair.
Well put, sir.
Well, thank you, Tim. Again, we have to put this warning label on for the folks in California. And tonight we have a special guest to start off the podcast. We want y'all to welcome Dan Robert from Coastal Plains Meat. Dan, welcome to the Pipe and Tobacco Talk podcast.
Welcome to y'all. Thank y'all for having me. We kind of tried a couple of times. We finally got it right, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And we're going to be talking about Coastal Plains, and we've got a special promotion from Dan, and we're going to talk about his pipe collection, because I believe, as Tim said last week, you got a new rattles.
I did. The mail showed the other day, and this was in there. Did y'all see that? Y'all see how pretty that thing is?
Gorgeous. What a gorgeous pipe.
And it was just didn't have a name on it or whatever. Whoever the hell made it knew what he was doing, you know? And y'all know who made this pipe.
Yes, we do.
Tim, you nailed it.
Good.
You nailed
like it.
Right to the... And again, you were showing that the other day, but look at the flame on that. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'll bring it up there. Look at that.
Yep.
Look at that grain.
Yep. For those of you listening on a
podcast. I was
podcast.
talking about it having a rusticated, wasn't it? You remember? Tim?
Right, yeah.
And
I'm glad we didn't.
This is going to go to a gift to a dear man of mine in my life, and my grandfather. He will be 100 years old, December the 1st. And we had seen a Rattles brand of pipe. They had their 2023 Yule pipe that I seen a picture of several weeks ago. And Pop looked at that and he just kept pointing at it. He kept pointing at it, and showed him a picture of it. And I tried to find it all over. And our friend in Georgia, he done better than that. I mean, he looked all over. He said, I've never had seen. They only made 100 of them, and none of them come to the United States. But he was able to get it too. But he said, I know one man that can do this, and it was Tim Beaumont. And did he not nail it? I mean, he nailed it. You can't tell the difference between the two. So there you go, Tim.
I'm glad you're happy with it.
You don't know how much this is going to mean to him. I'm telling you right now.
Wow.
Something else. Thank you.
What a wonderful moment.
Wonderful.
And as the teaser to get you to listen to the end of the episode, because we're blatant in our attempts to get you to listen to the whole show, we will be giving away a pipe from Mitchell at MBST Pipes for Camp Southern Ground. Tim got all of the most of the spots filled. We had a couple people that didn't want to have their names in the drawing, but they just wanted to give to Camp Southern Ground, and we'll do the drawing at the end of the show. So
yes, we will. That's right.
We're just talking about wonderful pipes and stuff. So let's talk to Dan about Coastal Plains Meat and tell us, a little bit about the products that you make and what the customers can find on your website.
Coastal Plains Meat Company. We're located in Eunice, Louisiana, which is in St. Landry Parish. Some people, if you're familiar with it, it's in Southwest Louisiana. Lafayette, Louisiana, it is about 37 miles north, just a tad northwest of Lafayette. We're the largest cattle processor in the state. Currently, we make we produce box beef. We do private labeling for people, custom processing of their livestock, where they can it'll be labeled, inspected and labeled and so forth. They could sell it at the farmers markets or in the at their home stores or whatever. We do a lot of that. There's a huge demand for that. And We make our value-added products. Of course, we make the boudin. Y'all know what boudin is? Do you know? Tim?
Nope.
No, sir.
No, I
no,
do not.
You get ready to.
No. All right.
It'll be in your box. Just follow the instructions.
Okay.
It'll
All right.
change your life, man. Boudin
I'm sure.
will change. And anybody that's listening to this, they ever eat boudin, they know what I'm talking about. That is the official sausage of Acadia, La Cayenne.
Oh,
And
All right.
it's something else. It's
I can't wait.
basically a, well, you'll just try it. It's a rice product with pork in it and garlic and onions and peppers. And listen, you just got to eat it. I mean, it's everything good in a casing. And of course, we make the boudin, and then we make several different smoked sausages. We make andouille, which I've won several national grand champions on andouille through the American Association of Meat Processors. Our bacon, I've done well with that in competition this year. Had 2023 champion bacon in Charleston this year, where the convention was, and so I'm proud of that. But we do we do all beef products. We do not process hogs. We've quit harvesting hogs. I get my pork in from a plant in Texas. They're processed on a Monday. I get them on a Tuesday, and we ship meat products all over the state: Texas, Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Shreveport, everywhere, and we're starting to get into export right now. So that's kind of what we do, and it's quite a job, I tell you.
Dan, I just have
send,
to tell
you send pictures to me quite often of
Yes.
some of the product, and you sent me a picture of big, thick cut of Wagyu beef.
Yes, we
Yeah,
process
and then
a
I
lot
had
of
to-
Wagyu cattle at the plant. Yes,
Yeah.
and if
Man.
anybody's ever ate Wagyu, of course, you guys are getting ready to. Got some coming to you. Again, that will change you, my friend.
Change your life.
Yes.
If I worked at that factory, I would be 500 pounds, and I would have to lay down in the shower to get my knees wet. I'm
Jim,
just
I tell you, I get this
drooling.
question asked all the time, probably every day. My customers, they say, "I bet you eat a ribeye every day, every day, every day." I said, "Man, I don't eat 3 ribeyes a year," and that's the truth. I don't.
Is that right?
This is my 50. I'm 59 years old, and this is my 54th year of being in the meat business. I've done this all my life. I'm
Yeah.
4th generation in my family to do this, and prior to us getting coastal plains and this and that, I worked for the USDA for 25 years. I was a federal meat grader for 25 years. So I was the happy man from the USDA that slapped prime, choice, and select on your carcasses that come into your steaks. So after 25, this is what I do in my retirement right here. I run the largest beef plant in the state of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
don't
got all
know
this
anything
time on
else.
your hands.
I enjoy it. It gets in your blood.
Well,
trust
you
me.
know, it was interesting when Dan and I first talked about the pipe for his grandfather. He was telling me a little bit about, and you remember the conversation, Dan, and he was telling me about coastal plains and describing the different cuts of beef that he produces and ships around the country, and the sausage. And you know, I'm a sausage guy. That didn't come out right. I love that didn't come out right. What am I going to say here?
No. You
All right,
please
I'm in a
refer
corner.
to the
You
warning
know what I mean.
label.
But then, you know, you started telling me a little bit about your side hobby, and I was thinking about asking you if there's any room at your house, because I'm housebroken. I'll come over there and I'll, you know.
But anytime y'all want to come, I'll take you to the plant. We welcome anybody to come, man. I'll throw a knife in your hand right quick, right
All
quick.
right.
There you go. So Tim openly admitting to loving sausage, which
Well, I was going to say,
moving in with
you know,
Dan.
I would walk out of the I would walk out of the plant, you know, he'd put a knife in my hand, walk out of the plant, and my pocket's full of meat. And I'm thinking, you can't even go there.
You won't be the first one that done that. A couple of them.
Yeah. D- d-
Oh,
d-
well. You know.
does Anita know, Tim? I mean, is there some things we need to share with her here?
Yeah,
As you-
is that meat in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
yeah.
Oh,
Honey, I brought home 12 inches of andouille. Enjoy.
oh, you got T'es pas bon, chat. T'es pas bon. Man, you're something.
Oh gosh.
So you said you were talking about my side hobby?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
Tim, did you see the picture of his pipe rack that he got? I was drooling
Yes.
over that.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
I'm telling you,
yeah.
I was.
And that is, in fact,
oh,
mahogany.
yes, sir.
They're beautiful. Yeah.
Mahogany. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime find right there. You know,
Yeah.
I was just
That thing is
so
beautiful.
happy.
Yeah,
I've not
and
even got it installed in the office. Still sitting in the foyer in there. Got to figure it out. I mean, it's pretty good size. You know, we're gonna move some stuff around hopefully this Saturday and get around and what have you. But um, one thing I wanted to, you know, one thing. How long have y'all both been pipe smokers?
Well, I'm Dan. I'm rather new to it. Maybe 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's long enough. Get in
yeah,
there. Jim, you're
I
an old timer too.
I started in 1986. My grandfather was a pipe smoker, and you know he was the traditional codger. He smoked one blend. He liked one style of pipes. He liked the ultralight straight billiards. It's all he ever smoked. He smoked the one blend, which was Amphora Blue, which is no longer available, which is disappointing. And I picked it up and absolutely loved it. And I put it down. I think my son was 2, so it was 95. And I put it down for a while and went to cigars. And when I came back to it in 2018, I remembered why I fell in love with it and why I enjoy it so much. So
I agree with you. I totally agree. How I got into it, of course, Pop always smoked the pipe. You know, Papa, you know, coming up and around. And my father, he chewed cigars. He never lit. When he lit one, he was mad. You better watch out. You better run. When he put fire to it, you better get the hell out the way. The old man meant business. But he would chew and eat 4 or 5 of them a day. You know. And when I went to grad school, when I graduated with my undergrad at LSU, I went to grad school at University of Missouri, Columbia, and majored in and got a degree in meat science. Yes, they do have a degree in meat science, and I got one. But in 4 years living in Columbia, I worked. Well, back in them years, that was in the early 80s, you know, you had to do what you could, man. I worked at Diggs Packing Company, worked on the kill floor there at 4 o'clock in the morning, had to start. And then the University Abattoir, I worked there. But on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I worked at Kaler's Pipes and Tobaccos at the Biscayne Mall in Columbia, Missouri. Mr. Michael Kaler. He had that store in Columbia, and he had another store. If I'm thinking it was either in Branson or Mountain View, Arkansas. I believe it may have been in Arkansas. I don't remember. It's been too many years. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. Back in those days, he had a humidor for cigars. Cigars were not the big thing. It was pipes, man. And we custom blended tobacco there. And there was a great big Rolodex with all these, you get lanes 1Q and you get this and you mix this and 2 squirts of vanilla and 1 squirt of rum and you take a swallow of this and, on and you like you baking a cake and mix it all up. And I learned quick, those old university professors would come in and bankers and this and that from all over St. Louis and Kansas City and say, hey, man, it wasn't 2 ounce, going to get 2 ounces of this or 4 ounces. It was a half a pound. Tim, when I was talking to you that night, I think we had a limit to blend. It had to be 1 pound. But I do remember guys coming in there getting 1, 2, 5 pounds blended. I mean, these guys were serious back then.
Yeah. Wow.
And, you know, in 4 years, I got to learn the pipe reps, the tobacco reps, I never did have interest in cigars. Just still to this day, you know, I admire them, but I just never had interest in it. But that's how I got started, and I've been doing this for, gee whiz, ever since then. You know, and I tell you, there's not a lot of things in this world that can relax me that I enjoy as much as a good pipe, and I think y'all know what I'm talking about. You know,
Yeah,
I really
exactly.
enjoy it.
Amen. Amen.
Sure
You know,
is.
that's my quiet time. I
Yeah,
love
it
having a
is.
pipe.
It's
You know?
just, it's more than just smoking the tobacco. It's I try to tell new people and this and that, and um, you know, a lot of cigar smokers, they tell me, they say, well, I used to smoke a pipe, or I want to smoke, but it's too damn much work. You know, it's too much work. Well, I don't think it's any work at all to y'all.
Yeah.
I
Right.
enjoy
I
it.
don't see the work in it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
No.
it. You know, and of course, I've been with it all these years, and I've really enjoyed it. And also, too, um, I'm originally from Thibodaux, Louisiana, and that's way 90 miles south of where I'm sitting here, way down there. And Daddy was always friends with a gentleman that lived in Paulina in St. James Parish. His name was Mr. Percy Martin. And y'all need to Google that name, Percy Martin. And they raised Perique. Y'all know all about Perique. Well, as a kid, we would go visit, but always, I didn't realize this till we got older. We would go about July and to visit. And if y'all have been in South Louisiana in July, August, September, it's not real pleasant, guys. I mean, it gets a little warm down here.
Yeah.
But we would go when to visit Miss Percy. That when they would happen to be in the fields, topping tobacco, you know, pulling suckers or topping tobacco, and we were made to kind of go out there and visit while Mister Percy and Dad would set the truck, an air conditioned truck, and imbibe in a beverage there. So that was the visit. And we would go back about September when they bring it in and they start making the toquettes, the hands, and putting them in the barrels and making the press and everything. So I got to see all that for many years. And of course, Mr. Percy was a very dear friend of mine. He was almost 100 years old when he passed, but he's no longer with us. But he got me to where I said, well, if they can raise that Perique, I can try to raise a little tobacco too. So I kind of started playing with it. And now I don't raise Perique because you can't do it. I live in Lafayette Parish, but Lafayette Parish does grow good brightleaf Virginia. And I grew one strain. It's called Dixie 27. And it was developed by the University of North Carolina. Oh, please. I'm not going to tell what year because I forgot what year. It was way back there before my time, you know. But Dixie 27, it makes a really good plant. A lot of leaves, about 17 to 20 leaves on it. Tall tobacco. And big, I'll show you. Here's a leaf right here. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, that's a
Now
big
that's
a
this
big leaf.
year's tobacco, Jim. That's this year's tobacco. This was the first. Actually, this is kind of what you call red Virginia. That's coming from middle part, but I can tell you, I wish y'all could smell that. Any of you guys that fool with tobacco, and Jim knows this, your tobacco is either in order or it's out of order. This tobacco is in order. You see what I'm saying? I can work this tobacco. I can work it. It's not crumbly. It's not, you know,
Oh, you've got
too
me
dry.
drooling. You've got me drooling, Dan.
Yeah.
Man.
Jim, this is good enough to eat, man. Look, you could wad that up and throw it in your mouth first thing in the morning. And take a big swallow of that Basil Hayden and start today before you get out of bed in the morning. Start the day right.
Right? Start it right.
Man, I'm telling you, you have no
But anyway,
idea
that's
how
really
bad
good.
I want a box of that to come to Colorado. That is
That's what I
just
told you, man.
gorgeous.
And then I got into pressing tobacco, and it was really when I come up on y'all and I started watching y'all's podcast. I was watching Mr. Jim, the way he does his tobacco, and I said, "Well, I've done that in the past." And then here's one of mine. I found this, and this is a puck. Does that look familiar, Jim?
Yes, it
That
does.
look familiar to you?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now I'm gonna tell you what date this is. This was made in 8/16. Hold on, what does that say? 2020. So this is 3 years old.
Oh.
I forgot I had this.
Oh.
And this is
Ooh.
10% Louisiana Perique. This is Louisiana tobacco, Louisiana broadleaf, St. James Perique from Martin Farms. And I can't remember if I got rum in this or not, but if it did, it's going to be Louisiana rum. So it's everything in here is from Louisiana. But that was the puck. So I kind of got to say, well, man, that's that's fine. And then that little thing you put them in, but that ain't near enough for me. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So Benji Douillon lives over here in Abbey or Kaplan, good friend of ours, and he's one of these guys can make fab anything. And he made me a tobacco press. And Jim, I'm gonna hold this up. Now this is heavy duty, guys. You see that?
Oh,
Oh.
jeez. Look at that thing.
Damn thing weighs 50 pounds. I'm telling you. I told him, I said, look here, Benji, I want you to make it sturdy. And oh, he did. I mean, y'all see.
Yeah. Gee.
Yeah, that's what it makes. And that will hold when I do a press, Jim, that right there, you want to put about 20 ounces in it.
Okay.
Or you can put upwards of 2 pounds in it if you want, if you like a real thick,
Mm-hmm.
But you know how it is when you press, you don't want to just get them like iron, kind of hand do it. And then, of course, I take this and put in a 6-ton press and just crank it down. But this is a result here. These are my plugs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
look
y'all
at
see
that.
Yeah.
Man,
Right.
if when you're
let me
listening to
bring
the
it in.
podcast, he's got a puck in front of us, and it's absolutely gorgeous. You can tell that
Jim,
it's
that's
pressed
whole leaf
perfectly.
right there.
Yep.
This is a whole leaf press.
And it's absolutely breathtakingly delicious. It
There's
is
about
absolutely
80 tobacco leaves in there. 80.
wow.
That's what you get, little thing like that. And then this is some more, but this is shredded tobacco. I shredded this, and then this is not whole leaf, but I went ahead and shredded it and then pressed it. And that's the way they come out. And
Man,
I mean,
so we've talked about meat, sausage, and pressed tobacco. I think I'm going to call it a night because it's not going to get it's not going to get better from here. It's perfect.
I'm getting on a plane and I'm moving there. I'm going there tonight.
I'm telling you, Eunice, Louisiana will be the next home of Emerson Southern Forged. I might live in Dan's
Jim,
garage for a while.
Basil tonight? That Basil Hayden we were talking about?
No, tonight I am enjoying a little redbreast Irish whiskey, which might be the finest whiskey I have put to my lips. Absolutely.
Tim, what you imbibing that?
You know what? I'm laid off tonight because I got to get going in the morning. So I decided I
had to
maybe not.
Easy. I'll tell you what I'm on here. Best choice sugar-free grape. You put that in water. You talk about like Kool-Aid, man.
No, all right. Well, there we go.
Too early in the morning, and I don't want to start in drinking. The judge says it's a whole lot cheaper if you wait till you get off work before you do that. Going to work.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, 3 a.m. comes quick to you. To everybody.
It's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah, right.
So,
Anyway.
Dan, before we let you go, because you've got us all drooling now, I believe you have a special promotion for the listeners of the Pipe and Tobacco Talk podcast.
We do. By the way, and I'll talk to you guys next week. You're drawing next week. I want to sponsor that drawing, okay? We'll talk next week what it is.
All right.
But if you go to coastalplainsmeatcompany.com, we're on Instagram, all the all the goodies, you'll find us there, all the social media. And you
Yeah,
can
well,
go to our store. You can order, you can go down, you can build your own box, or you can just see what we offer. And if you mention that you heard on this podcast, I will give you a pound of 2023 National Champion Dry Cured Bacon.
oh wow, that's generous.
Wow.
And
It'll
and
change your life.
Dan, we'll put your website in the show notes,
We appreciate
in
it.
the comment section, or not comment section, but in the summary section below.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put it in as a link, so whoever's on YouTube can just click on it, and it'll take you right to the website. But for people that are listening to it on a podcast, what is that email, or I'm sorry, the website address?
It would be www.coastalplainsmeatcompany, all spelled out, .com.
There you go.
Wow.
We're
Dan,
all over it. You can't hit. When you hit it, you're going to be excited when you see what we offer.
well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for the generous offers for the listeners of the show. We really appreciate it. I'm absolutely drooling. You know, first we talk about Wagyu beef and andouille and bacon, and then we talk about pressed pipe tobacco and growing your own tobacco, and then then we finish off with a little booze talk and a special offer. How wonderful and gracious of you!
You can't beat that. Listen, I appreciate y'all both, and Tim, I really want to thank you for doing that. That means you don't know what that means. To not only me, my family too. So when that time comes, we give it to them. We're gonna take a lot of pictures, probably take a little video there.
Yeah, please do. That'd be
and
great.
I'll try to do a little interview with him in French. He only, he talks Cajun French.
Yeah.
And we'll talk in French, and then I'll translate it for you.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Dan.
Have a good evening, and really, thank you so much for being on with us.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All right. How cool was that?
Great.
How cool is that? I mean, just, I'll tell you, I've talked to Dan a couple of times, and, I text with him fairly regularly. He's going to figure out how to hang up here in a minute, and it'll be fine because we're going to talk about it a little bit. But just what a fantastic guy he is. He's got that new pipe rack that he sent me pictures of, and I'm jealous. And he gets to work with meat all day, and I'm jealous. And he grows his own tobacco, and it's just an entire case of envy for me. It's just
I know. Well, and he describes the different sausage products that he makes, like the andouille sausage, and I'm just all I can do is think about cooking some of that, and just nobody else gets any. I'm gonna
yeah. I'm
gonna be all elbows, and I'm gonna eat sausage till I bust.
I'm putting on some gray sweatpants, the biggest sweatshirt I've got.
That's right.
Leave me alone.
Right. I'll end up in the emergency room with the meat sweats.
Exactly. In fact, I think I'm just going to order a defibrillator. Just have Diane paddle me about once every hour so I can keep going.
Well, he sent me also a link, and it was just a kind of a cryptic note. Do you like country hams? And I thought, well, who doesn't like country ham? And so I clicked on the link, and it's a tutorial on how to sugar cure a country ham. And he did it. The sponsor was Domino Sugar, so it's a sugar cured country ham. Takes a year for it to cure, and be at the peak. You can keep them longer, but once it's cured and then you smoke it, it'll last. That was the the old way of preserving meat without refrigeration. Yeah.
And I think we're in agreement. The old ways are still best.
Oh yeah.
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 Right. Just checking. We're conjuring it up at this point, but man, sugar cane cured country ham.
Uh-huh.
Oh
yeah.
man.
I know.
Shall, shall I talk about my vegan encounter today? Well, we're talking
Yes,
about
please.
ham.
Please do.
So I was out and about today, and the guy didn't know me from Adam, and he stopped me and he said, "Hey, Jim, how you doing?" I'm good, thanks. How are you? He goes, "Hey, do you have a minute?" I said, "Sure." He goes, have you ever thought about like a workout regimen?" I said, "Well, yeah, man. I have to tell you, I ride the Exersofa at least an hour every night, and I ride it hard. Sometimes I make some couch mix up, and I will ride that thing hard until I'm good and tired." And he goes, "I just wanted to talk to you about, I'm a vegan, and I've been doing CrossFit for about 2 years, and I just wanted to tell you about the benefits of it." And I'm like, a vegan doing CrossFit? And I looked at him and I thought, Adam, are we really going to have this conversation? He goes, "Well, if you'd like to, excellent." I said, "So what kind of meats are you allowed to eat as a vegan?" And he looked at me as, "You don't understand." I said, "No, I don't think the lack of comprehension is on this end of the conversation." Because if you're talking about a diet without any meat in it, no,
Right.
pass.
Yeah.
Well, have you thought about CrossFit? No, I've thought about cross stitch because I can sit on the Exersofa and do it, but I'm not doing CrossFit either. And he goes, "Well, you're kind of a big guy, Jim." "Yeah, I know. I got this way on purpose.
This masterpiece didn't show up overnight, baby.
Like I tell my wife all the time, when you got a tool like this, you got to build a shed over it." And
That's what they say. You tell them, "Hey, look, what's the sense of having a nail if you don't have a hammer to pound it in with?"
that's right. Exactly. I have 3 sizes in my closet: jumbo, husky, and oh my God, it's moving towards us. And I'm pretty content with that. And he goes, "Do you worry about dying?" No, I'm ready to go. I'm good. Anytime the Lord wants to take me, I'm fine with it. But I have to live like that. I'd have my Cobain vape pen in my mouth and trying to empty it. He goes, "I don't think you're taking me very seriously." "Oh, absolutely not. You said vegan and CrossFit in the same sentence. I have no interest in being serious with you." And he just looked at me and he shook his head and he walked away. And I thought, man, that was probably the best possible outcome. Just, yeah.
What on God's green earth that gave him the idea that you would,
Yeah.
you're just the guy I've been looking for.
Let me extol the virtues. Do you have a minute? It's like he Jehovah witnessed me. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Really? You're going to talk to me about being a vegan? Yeah. You know what I use vegetables for? To soak up the juice from my steak on the plate and let it sit there. Jackass.
Yeah.
And here's a guy, he's 6'2", weighs 115 pounds, and looks
Yeah.
like a javelin. No, next.
Yeah. You don't want to get, near him. You might stab you with his elbow,
Exactly.
Cut you open.
Hey, come on, I'm going to take you out into a strong wind and see how far you can go.
Right. All right. Yeah. Jeez. Well, that's, I applaud you for your restraint. The good thing is like, if there's like the cannibal apocalypse, guys like that are going to live forever because there's no meat on them.
No, exactly. Well, you use them as spears. Just pick them up and heave them at something.
They make flutes out of their bones. Their bones are hollow.
Tiny little fella flew about 65 yards. He was pretty good. It's just awful. So let's do what's new. Did you add anything new to your collection this week?
As usual, no, I did not. But I did pack my suitcase and my other bag to take to the friendly skies to Las Vegas, and leaving tomorrow about midday. And I'll be there tomorrow night, and then the fun begins Friday morning. And the Las Vegas International Pipe Show. International, by the way.
International Pipe Show.
International. And I'm hoping that, there's no international incident, me shoot my mouth off about something that I know nothing about, offending everybody around me,
Yeah, I don't really think we're immune from that, Tim. I think you just might as well fire away.
It's like, Well, it seems there was an incident between the delegate from Ohio and the nice man from Moldova. He had no clue.
Yeah, the pipe maker from Gaza is suddenly having a bad day.
He's like, who set that cretin next to me? He's a cretin. Yeah, no,
He's so uncouth.
I've been called worse.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to take. So I got some of these. These are magnets. Oop, here, come over here where the camera is. Magnets
that.
and then coasters. So we got some coasters, and the coasters have our patent pending warning on it.
Oh, isn't that cool? I
Yeah,
just
it's
love
good.
that.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and so I'll send you a couple packets of these coasters, and you'll get some of these magnets. I've got some, and so when people acquire bits of jarred product from you, they may end up getting some of these cool little dandy ditties here that
No, awesome.
This is your ticket to the asshole club is what this is.
Display that proudly.
Membership-
and grow
membership
a pair.
Membership card. Yeah.
That's right. So, as you know, you and I both talked to Dan from OK Jeep 8 on Instagram, and he works for a company. So there are stickers coming for both of us. We should have them by the weekend. And I will send Tim a section. So you can get a coaster, you can get a sticker, you can get a magnet with our warning label on it, which I think is kind of the highlight of the show.
Yep.
So excellent. Wonderful. So when you go to the show, I talked to Mike from Pipe and Tamper. Say hi to Mike from Pipe and Tamper.
I will do that.
And also, my good friend Anthony from Castle Briars is going to come up and introduce himself to you. He's a
good.
pipe maker from here in Colorado. So say hi to Anthony and let him know that I told him the truth. I said, you're one of the nicest people on the planet. You're just great people, and so try to live up to that, Tim, or don't. Either way.
So whatever you do, stay away from Tim.
Yeah. So just walk by and wave hi, Anthony.
Right. Yeah.
Don't stop. Yeah. If you have delicate sensibilities, stop.
And
Move on.
don't ask, how are you doing? Because by God, he'll tell you.
That's right. Exactly. Tim, do you want to know about veganism and CrossFit? No, I don't. So, but
you smell like bacon.
I have to tell you, there's a soft spot in my heart for andouille, and I absolutely love it. I love spicy things. My time in Arizona, really, I grew in my appreciation. But man, Cajun food has always been a favorite. I love jambalaya. I love andouille, and having Dan on was a hoot. So.
Oh yeah. I listen to him talk. Whether it's the accent. I mean, he's got a lot of stories to tell. He spun that whole tale out about his experience with Percy Morgan and processing the Perique tobacco in his backyard, basically.
And don't you love it that his dad and Percy sat in the truck in the air conditioning and had a couple of beverages while they're out there topping.
They're out there working in that hot sun. Yeah.
Yeah, Louisiana in July, man.
Oh, jeez.
Swamp ass. That's all you're getting is swamp ass.
That's right. That's right. It's like, I can't wait to get home and unstick my balls from my ass.
Man, sure if I don't rip the skin off of them because I'm drowning.
I need that.
Oh, excellent. So I have something new, and I feel blessed. So Eric from EMC Comms, and we want to do an interview with him coming up soon, I think.
Yeah.
Now, you're traveling home Sunday, is that correct?
No, Monday.
So are we going to record Sunday night? Is that kind of our plan? Or are you going to wait till
let's
Tuesday?
Wait till the first part of the week, Monday or Tuesday night, to do it.
Okay, so let's
Because
just
I don't
do
want
a
to cart
Tuesday.
this. Yeah, I don't want to cart this equipment around.
Oh, really? You're afraid to cart the laptop around? Seriously? We better
Microphone.
get you some girly man underwear, because it's a whole laptop.
Well, I can just see some TSA shtick with the blue gloves, fumbling it and smashing it on the terrazzo.
Tim, you've got 30 pipes in your luggage and a laptop. Do you have something to tell us?
Right, that's right. As they're giving you this.
So I talked to Eric, and we're going to do an interview with him 2 weeks. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And Eric does raffles periodically on Instagram. If you're not following EMC Custom Cobs, please do so. Eric makes some wonderful cobs, and I absolutely love them. And I've been on a blue stem kick. And I entered the raffle about 10 days ago, and mysteriously, this week, this gorgeous custom modified cob came in.
Nice.
And I'm holding it up, so absolutely love it. It's smooth, smokes like a dream, and it has a wonderful blue-black swirl stem on it, and it's just, again, Eric makes quality pipes, and we're going to talk to him. And, of course, if you're deeply offended by things that we say, wait till we bring Eric on.
Nice.
Eric is just like us. He is definitely not politically correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can say that pretty. So
yeah, that's good.
We're excited.
Hey,
to bring
hold that
Eric
up again. I want to see that shank, though. That looks kind of cool.
Yeah, it's got the Fordite accent.
Okay. Yeah. But what's the shank bit made of between the cob and the Fordite?
I don't. It looks like an actual cob itself.
Wow,
I mean,
that's really cool. It's like
Yeah,
a checkerboard.
And what I really like is Eric always puts a new bottom in. Puts a briar bottom in all of it, and he's got his maker's mark on it, and I absolutely. For me, it's not that he makes great cobs. It's just like you and I. It's the relationship. When people ask me, how do you determine what artisan pipe makers to get from? Well, it's the relationship I develop with them.
Right.
That's the whole crux of the matter. I mean, that's how we got here. That's how I've been friends with Eric. And those of you that don't know, I do make some custom-made blends for EMC custom cobs. And, it's the relationship. The equivalent for me is always, in the analogy I use, it would be like going into an art dealership and buying a Renoir and getting to talk to Paul Renoir while you're buying it.
Yeah.
Because these pipes will long outlast me, and my son will pass it down to his kids when he has kids, and hopefully it's not anytime soon because I'm nowhere near ready for that nonsense. But, these pipes will outlast me, and, he has the story to tell that my dad knew all of these pipe makers, and, how wonderful that is. So,
yeah.
And by the way, so as long as we're talking about wonderful experiences, so I took the pipes you made to my boss and one of my coworkers on Thursday morning.
Right. Okay.
And they were jumping up and down. They're like, "Oh, you got me a pipe?" Huh? I sure did. So I made up a box for them. I gave them a check tool. I gave them a soft flame lighter. I gave them pipe cleaners. I gave them a jar of tobacco. I gave them those very special billiard PapaBear pipes. And if you're a new pipe smoker or you're new to pipe smoking, start with a straight billiard. They work perfectly. And anyway, both of them got home last night, and within an hour of getting home, they're both texting me saying, "Oh my God, this is such a new experience." Now, my boss is a cigar smoker, and he says, "This is so much better. I'm absolutely in love with it." And so that's Andy and Jake. Jake called me up and says, "Oh, this has completely changed my outlook." And Jake is very historically oriented. He's a student of history. And, I wrote him a thank you card, gave him some stickers, and said, this is part of the tradition. America got started in the 1600s because we could grow tobacco here better than a lot of places. And
That's
the
right.
English
right.
came and
Yeah.
took it, and this is part of carrying on that heritage. And they've both been raving, and I spent some time with them, teaching them how to pack a pipe, how to enjoy it, and they're absolutely in love. And the reason that they're in love is because Tim made these absolutely perfect billiards for him. And now they have a connection to you. And they said, who made these? And I said, well, it's my friend Tim at PapaBear's Pipe. So you got 2 new subscribers on Instagram.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's just, it was such a moment. And it's like, Tim made all of this possible. So thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you for the opportunity. It's my pleasure. You know that. I got part of the joy of being involved in the pipe community is the things that those moments when you're able to do something for somebody that they didn't ask for it, but you just did it, and I don't know, how do you describe it? It's just a good moment. Just a good moment.
Oh, it is. And both of them are like, well, what do we owe you for this? Nothing. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And I told them both, welcome to the tradition. You are now part of the tradition, and you need to carry it on. Yeah,
very good.
And it was all made possible by your excellent pipes.
Hey, it's a joint effort, man.
Not to mention that for the last 6 months, I've let them smell every jar of tobacco I brought with me to work, and they're like, "Oh, this is really good."
Yeah.
And
well, you've got a lot of people now, and I hear it more and more often. People who are cigar and especially cigarette smokers who want to get, drop the coffin nails.
mm-hmm.
Slide over to smoking a pipe.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get that the chemical buzz that you would from smoking cigarettes, but it's a way to continue to enjoy tobacco. I don't know if you can. Some people are able to quit cigarettes and others are not, but whether you would or not. But I mean, this is okay. See, you got somebody in the audience, in the studio audience, that.
One of the hosts was a longtime cigarette smoker.
Yep.
Yeah. And what makes it, and don't worry, if you need a nicotine hit from a blend, I can whip something up that'll put. I can whip something up to put you on your ass.
I got you.
Yeah, I have some. I know a guy.
Right. Yeah.
But and what flipped me to pipes from cigars was cigars aren't particularly nuanced to me. They taste. I've probably had 200 different cigars, and some of them. And there's some that I really like. The Jaime Garcia Reserva Especial is a particular favorite, but they're not particularly nuanced. It's not one of those things where I'm unraveling the flavor while I'm enjoying it. It's just I'm having a cigar.
Right.
And when I came back to pipes, I realized, this is what I've been missing. And I smoked cigars for about 10 years. And I have a great collection of bands, and I've got them in a shadow box in my office. And they just aren't as nuanced. They're not as deep as pipe tobacco. And that's what I love about pipes and pipe tobacco.
Yeah, and you can go from, the points of a compass, from Virginias to Latakias to, Englishes to Balkans to, you can explore a lot of different blends and, things that you like that other people don't, and things that you may acquire a taste for, but you never get that in a cigar, for sure not a cigarette.
No. And I was talking with Jake on Thursday, and he said, "What's the difference between the nicotine levels in pipe tobacco and the nicotine levels in cigarettes?" And I'm like, "Well, okay, you're standing in the sun in Wyoming. That's pipe tobacco nicotine levels. In cigarettes, you're standing on the surface of the sun. It's just dramatic, and not that I'm bagging on cigarettes. If you smoke cigarettes, it's on you. We're not here to judge you for it. But the nicotine levels and ammonia B that are put in, the chemicals that they put in cigarettes remove it so far from tobacco. And our friend Steve at Vermont Freehands frequently gets those 1950s cigarettes, which haven't been, doused in chemicals, and it's a completely different experience.
Yeah. Yep.
But the current batch of cigarettes that are out are just, Oh, well, this is the same thing as having a test tube of chemicals. So
Yeah, right. Well, and with the tobacco, pipe tobacco, you don't get any of that.
no, you don't.
You may get toppings and depending upon what you're enjoying at the time, but you're not going to be getting God knows what.
Yeah, all the research
I've seen
chemicals.
the litany of chemicals. I can't remember, and I'm not being critical of anybody that enjoys cigarettes, but I'm just saying that, like, for me, I'd rather have the variety than the one-dimensional stuff. That's why I generally don't drink rye whiskey, because it's a violin with one string.
Yeah, boy, I hate to say this out loud, but I'm really conjuring it up because I have smoked Palo Torcido now for 3 weeks, and I have, I smoked I drank some different stuff while I'm on, but I keep coming back to Redbreast and bought a second bottle because I killed the first one here on this episode. And it's just a matter of personal preference. When you look at the number of pipe tobaccos there are, what are there, 10,000, 11,000 different?
It has to be. Yeah.
Different blends. And whatever you like, that's what makes pipe tobacco so special. That's what makes the pipe and tobacco portion so special, is you can find something that you like. Smoke that. And don't let anybody tell you different. If you like aromatics and you like burley and you like latakia and you like Virginia blends, whatever it is that you like, be happy smoking that. And don't let anybody tell you different. Oh, well, to be a real pipe smoker. No, to be a real pipe smoker.
That's bullshit. Yeah.
Exactly. Smoke what you like and don't let anybody tell you different. Pretty much is how we're looking at it.
I agree.
All right. So there's nothing new in the pipe tobacco world. I am working on a mountain of blends, and I feel terrible because I'm trying to make an aromatic for Katrina, which is Eric's wife at EMC Custom Cobs, and I made one that was so bad, I won't even put it in the jar of doom. It was just death warmed over. So she has some specific flavors that you want on it, and I put white burley in it, which, if you know a little bit about pipe tobacco, or if you don't, I'm going to tell you, it has kind of a nutty flavor. And once I added the topping to it,
went south.
I took it out, and it's like, oh man,
Jeez.
this is the worst thing I've ever made. And I messaged Eric and said, I'm working on the fourth incarnation of this because nothing that I produced, and the last one I produced, is so terrible, I can't even put it in the jar of doom. So for those of you that are new to the podcast or new to understanding Emerson Southern Forged, when I make something that goes sideways, I have what's called the jar of doom. And eventually what I'll do is, once I get all three of them filled up, I will press them again and send them off to people that I don't like.
That's like that. Ooh, taste this. It stinks.
Man, you think it smells terrible now. Wait till you set it on fire.
Right. They'll have to have somebody come in and clean their house, paint the inside of the house because it's all smudged.
Yeah, it'll take paint off the wall.
It looks like they had a coal burner in their house.
And I joked on one of my earlier videos on the ESF channel. I have a YouTube channel. I haven't made a video in forever, and I'm sorry. But I made the Grey Cottage, the Dreek Groove blend. And the first time I made it with powdered bergamot. And it was so horrible. I thought, man, this is the worst thing I've ever made. I have to do something special with it. So I bought a shadow box. I put it in the 2 jars, and it's sitting in the shadow box.
Skull and crossbones.
Yeah, in case of the apocalypse, break glass. Give this to someone you don't like.
Can you smoke bergamot?
Well, in the liquid
safely?
form, in the liquid form, yeah, you can. In the powdered form, no. I was summoning demons.
Imagine that stuff. It would stay in the powdered form. When you drew through your pipe, you'd choke. It's like powdered Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Beelzebub, is that you, Jim? Why did you summon us? I don't know. Can't. Somebody wanted this, and I just did
And I
it.
just did it. Do you do everything that people tell you to do?
Yeah, I do. So, anyway, I'm working on. I've got a ton of bitters blends that I'm working on, and Matt at OKGP, beware. Coming in about 8 days, your mailbox is going to fill up with things that you're the tester for. Enjoy. So,
This is the guy that said, "Hey, I'd be your tester."
yeah, exactly. Ooh, careful what you wish for.
Turns out you've got a guy in your basement, and you've got him chained to the post downstairs with a bike lock around his neck, like on Breaking Bad. And all he does is takes. And he hears the door open and the light, shines on the basement floor, and the shadows coming down. He's like, "Oh God, here he comes again."
Please no. Please
I hope
don't
he
make
didn't
me.
lace the tobacco with red pepper or something this time.
Yeah.
I
And
ran out of Perique. I'm using red pepper flakes this time.
I bought this flavoring called anus. Enjoy. Oh. It's a shame we don't enjoy doing this podcast at all. So we've talked about pipes. We've talked about the bass.
The guy says, "Wait a minute, ain't that pronounced anus?" Generally, but this is pronounced anus.
Yeah. This is with a U. Anus. Enjoy. This smells like flaming butt cheeks. Yeah, sure does. It sure does.
It actually goes down a little better if you put a little Gold Bond on it.
That's right. A little Johnson & Johnson talcum powder. And now a word from our sponsor, Sweaty Balls. Sweaty Balls talcum powder.
Hey, look, that reminds me. There was this guy that was in a terrible car crash. Terrible. And, he lost a couple of limbs, an arm and a leg, and they weren't able to do anything. So he's short an arm and a leg, and he lost his member too in the car crash. And the doctor comes into the emergency room and says, "Look, got bad news for you, and I got some good news." He says, "What do you want first?" He says, "Give me the bad news first." He says, "Well, the bad news is you lost an arm and a leg, and there's nothing we can do about it." He goes, "Well, what's the good news?" He says, "You lost your member also." He said, "But the good news is we've had a lot of success in replacing severed penises with elephant trunks." And the guy he says, "So what do you want to do?" He goes, "Well, my girlfriend's not going to like me without an arm and a leg." Yeah, do the elephant trunk. So, they do the surgery, and he goes through, months and months of rehab, and his girlfriend keeps calling him. She wants to see him. He says, I can't see you. Again and again and again. She's starting to get, kind of like, what's the matter with this guy? I want to, I care about him. I want to see him. So he says, "Look, let me get through rehab, and we'll have dinner." So finally, they're out to dinner, and tears, and this reunion, and you've lost an arm and a leg, and that won't make me stop loving you. He says, "I got some bad news." And as he's telling her, this thing comes up on the table, and it grabs a dinner roll, and it goes down underneath the table. And she says, like this, and she says, "Oh, what's the other news?" And he says, and again, this thing comes up, it grabs a dinner roll and goes back underneath the table. He says, "I lost my penis in the car crash, but they replaced it successfully with an elephant trunk." She goes, "Oh my gosh." She goes, "Is that what keeps coming up and taking the dinner rolls?" She says, "Yeah, that's it." She goes, "That is so interesting." She goes, "Could you do that again?" He goes, "I would, but I don't think my asshole can take another dinner roll."
Grow a pair, kids, because Tim is on fire tonight. Remember, kids, this podcast is for people over the age of 18 and with really childish sense of humor. Oh. All right.
Oh, God.
So Matt, my unfortunate tester,
Right.
who's going to be suffering, actually sent us some Ask Us Anything questions.
Okay.
And they're geared for both of us, so we'll get through that. And
right.
then in a little bit, once we've had enough fun, we'll do the drawing.
Well, you know what?
So-
It kind of sounds like we might get some more donations.
Well, Mitchell had talked about a Savinelli, and Dan just mentioned that he'd like to sponsor the next giveaway. And, I think that just becomes a part of our show. Don't you?
All right. Well,
That-
let's do it. We'll do that then. All right. Let's do that. Okay. Good.
Yeah, let's do a pipe giveaway every month, and
right. Makes sense. I'm good. We make the rules up as we go. We're good.
Yeah, it's just if we want to give one away every week, then we'll do that. We really, it's not.
Hey, we're our own men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about having a salad, and then I stopped and had a cheeseburger.
Right. Maybe a rice cake.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, if you haven't eaten a rice cake, you're
Wait a minute. That's a paper cup.
I had 2 rice cakes, a napkin, and a tablecloth, and couldn't tell the difference. So, all right.
All right. Let's go with those questions.
All
Here
right.
we
So
go.
his question is, as a new to pipe smoking and listening to your podcast, I do have a 2-part question for both of you guys. Is there a minimum number of pipes you need in your collection in order to rotate and for different tobaccos? 3 months in, and I have 7 Savinelli pipes. That's only because my first was a Savinelli from a local pipe store, and I've just continued with them. So that's part 1 of the question. So, Tim, how many pipes should he have? And then I'm going to tell an outrageous lie afterwards. So,
Well, the way to categorize this in a question is like, at what point does a hobby turn into an obsession? And in this case, how much? I guess the question is how much room does he have? Because 7 is definitely not enough. There's not a number. I can't give him a number. I think what you do is you just keep doing it until you get in trouble, because divorce isn't worth it. But just keep tugging on that thread.
I'm willing to gamble. I don't. You have 7, and you're on your journey. So in 2018, I had 2. It's now 2023, and I'm not telling you how many I have, but I will say that it is a 3-digit number and climbing. I like Savinellis. I'm going to tell you how many Savinellis I have. I have 31 Savinellis. And if you're going to get a production pipe, Savinelli, Peterson, whatever makes you happy. If you like Savinelli, get Savinelli. I love Savinellis. I have a collection of them. One of the first gifts that was pipe related that my daughter and son-in-law and grandkids gave me was a Savinelli 645 Dolomite. And I absolutely love it. And I've just kind of stuck with Savinelli. Savinelli is kind of my production pipe blend, my production pipe brand.
Yeah. He can't go wrong with the Savinellis. It's just no way.
No, you can't. And it's what your preference is. There's no. You pick, Matt. What brand of pipe you like. I will tell you that artisan pipe makers like Tim and Anthony from Castle Briars and ABBS and EMC Custom Comps make wonderful products. And you can't go wrong with any of those either. It's just a matter of what you like. And the great thing about all of the pipe makers, and especially Tim, that's how Tim and I met, Matt, is that I saw one of his pipes on Instagram and said, I really want you to make something custom for me. And he did. And look at where we are now. 2 guys sitting on a podcast talking about pipes and tobacco.
Yeah, right. Chasing people away from us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Right. We're going to go from 3s of listeners to 2s of listeners. So, and now part 2 of his question: at one point, would one look at an artisan pipe? And with artisan pipes, is it your first one? Is there a price range? That being said, price range meaning you can get into artisan pipes at $250 or $300, or should you expect to start at $400? Tim, where does he start if he gets an artisan pipe from you?
I think for me, it's going to depend on what he wants. The range is going to be between 180 and say 275 generally. And it just depends on the style, the complexity, and the materials that are used. But in a broader sense, the way that I would approach it would be, you look at a pipe and decide whether it's one that you just gotta have, and then look at the pipe first, and then look at the price, and ask yourself, am I willing to give up that amount to get this particular pipe? But what I would do is I would look at it first, decide it's something you want, and then look at the price. Don't shop price first.
I could not agree more wholeheartedly. So, we've talked to Richard and Dan. We've talked about Richard from EB Pipes and Dan from Ohio Briars, and they're both relatively new pipe makers. And you can be in, from $100 to $150 with those two. An EMC Custom Cobb gets you a little bit more. Something from ABBS gets you a little more. Fall in love with the pipe. If you see a pipe and you really like it and you're willing to spend the money, get that. And again, what you'll develop once you start buying artisan pipes is a relationship with the artisan pipe maker. Tim and I both started off watching Simon at LCS Briars.
Yeah, that's right.
Simon makes a ton of videos while he's making pipes, and that's how I got into the pipe community. The first artisan pipe I got was from ABBS. The second one I got was from LCS Briars, and the relationship I developed with Tim is just off the hook. And I'm starting that relationship with Anthony at Castle Briars and Jesse at Oliphant Pipes and Nathan at Archer's Pipes. And, I talk to these guys on a fairly regular basis, and it's just part of being in the pipe community. Pick what you like and get one. And once you, I agree. And once you get one, I'm here to tell you, it's like a potato chip. Nobody has a potato chip.
That's right.
If you're looking at the rack that's right over my shoulder on YouTube, there's 39 pipes in that rack that are artisan pipes from all the makers that I participate in. The top row is 13 of Tim's pipes, and then I have my ABBS collection. I have my LCS Briars collection. I have Ron's freehands, and I have a relationship with all these guys, and it's part of being in the pipe community. So don't find something you love and buy one. Garrett at Pipes by Woo makes some exceptional pipes, and you can find them, $150, $180. Be happy. Just pick what you like and get one. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah, my first artisan was with was an LCS. Yep.
Oh, that's how I got hooked in the YTPC. I watched him make, and it was pipe. I think it was 548. It's this apple with a red and black Cumberland stem, and he said, "Well, Jim, if you're interested in it, I'll give you first right of refusal. You can buy it." And I'm like, "Okay, what's first right of refusal?" I'm kind of new at this. He goes, "Well, you have the first option to buy it. When I finish it, you can buy it." And it was my first LCS 4-star pipe, and fell in love with it. And I think I have 13 LCS Briars now. So yeah. I won't tell you the number of pipes I have, because if my wife listens to the podcast, she will fall over in a dead faint.
She's not allowed in that room.
No. Don't even. No, I'll vacuum in there, sweetie. Just stay out there.
I got it.
All right. Blake Pipes has been a fan of the channel, and he brought up, this isn't Ask Us Anything, but it's just an add-on to our episode 8 where we talked about movies you have to see, because he added some movies that we forgot.
All right,
and I wanted to bring those up ever so briefly.
All right,
So
good.
thank you, Blake Pipes. We greatly appreciate it. This is Spinal Tap. If you have not seen this movie,
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, the Boston the Boston concert got canceled. I wouldn't worry about it. Boston's not a very big concert, or not a very big college town. And my favorite line from that movie, because I have one of those memories, is that I don't think it was so much that the band was down. I think it was more the fact that Stonehenge was in danger of being trampled by dwarves. And here's a movie that both of us forgot that we've talked about on multiple occasions: Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's so many lines in that movie. You know, the nights that
It's
say
just
need.
full. Yeah.
It is. You know, Tim the the wizard. My name is Tim. You know.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many lines in that when I was like last year in high school, we used to put in above ground swimming pools, and it was all day digging in the sun with they taught us how to operate a manual shovel,
A valuable skill.
and all we did was while we were working to relieve the agony was recite lines from that movie and laugh about it. They're
Another
great.
classic movie. Also, we forgot Animal House.
Yeah, I know. How did we forget that?
I think because we were drinking, and I'm drinking tonight, and I have it in front of me. But Animal House, another excellent movie.
He said like 8 years of college down the drain.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? The Germans? Forget it. He's on a roll.
Right. We want to dance with the old dates.
Otis, my man, he loves us.
So then the great line, "Hey, you fucked up. You trusted us."
Yeah, it's another sparkling line. And then in the John Belushi theme, Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Blues Brothers, another Dan Aykroyd, John
they're on
Belushi.
a mission from God.
Yeah, that's right. When Carrie Fisher shows up with that AR-15 firing rounds at him, a friend came in from out of town. I got a flat tire. It's not my fault. And then lastly, probably my favorite Steve Martin movie, The Jerk.
The Jerk. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry, folks. I'm going to be able to send extra money next week. My girlfriend promised me a blowjob. And I'll be able to send more money.
How about Optograb? Everybody's walking around, their eyes are crossed. I was trying to think there was a product that failed not too long ago, within the last couple of years, and I and somebody else were talking about that particular product that failed, and it was like I don't know, it did something, and people were getting sick from it. I can't remember. I said it's an Optograb. And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. Come on.
He hates the cans. All right, so that wraps up movies that you have to watch to understand our humor. Now, Tim, it is time to do the giveaway. And while you're getting set up for that, I am going to show this fantastic Peterson Christmas 2023 that Mitchell has gifted the show to give away. And look at this. This is the pipe that's coming to you. It's the 999. It's a bent author, has the Sterling band on it. Absolutely fantastic pipe. And thank you, Mitchell, from MDSD Pipes, or MBSDpipes.com. Absolutely thank you so much for making this, episode 9 such a special episode. So, Tim, your screen has gone blank.
I know. I was trying to be cool about this, but okay. 1 to 2.
Tim, I think that ship has sailed for both of us.
Yeah.
We're just not going to be cool.
All right. So here's what we have. We've got. I'm trying to think the best way to do this. Let me try it this way.
All right.
Try not to be dizzy.
Oh, thank you, Tim.
All right.
Tim now causing vertigo in all of our customers.
So we
our
have
threes of listeners.
There are 20. Here's what we had. We had 20 people who gave that wanted to play, and then there was another $150 in donations of people who just wanted to give. Okay, and so what we've got here, if we can see it, geez, this sucks. So it's 1 through 20, and I'll go ahead and roll it. This is not working at all. Crap.
It's okay, Tim.
I said random numbers between 1 and 20, and you roll it, and it gave me the number 181. What the hell?
Okay, so again, math hard. We've got 20 potential winners. The winner is number 181.
All right. So the winner is number 8.
Number 8.
Number 8. This is the winner, number 8. Can you see it? Yeah, number 8.
All right.
And the winner is a fellow by the name of Brian David. Brian,
David, congratulations. You win the Christmas Peterson 2023 Model 999 Fishtail Peterson pipe, and we'll throw some extra stuff in the box for you. I will get that. Tim will get me the address. I'll get that mailed out, and you'll have it shortly. Congratulations on the win, and thank you for everyone that gave to Camp Southern Ground. You know, Chris was on with us for the interview portion. It was a special episode that we did. Thank you so much for helping out our veterans. Thank you for helping out the camp that helps them readjust to civilian life after they come out of the service. And again, it's not just service members, it's first responders, police, firefighters, the traumatic things that they go into the day. And a friend of mine once said, the amazing thing about firefighters, while everybody's running out of the burning building, they're running in.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
And
some of these guys are so traumatized by the things that they've been through that, when we get up in the morning and in the time between when we get up in the morning and we go to bed, it's just been a mundane day for us. But for one of them, they may have thought 4 or 5 times about ending their life. And this program at Camp Southern Ground helps them turn their life around. And I'm really just heartwarmed by the outpouring of generosity of the folks that are watching the podcast and otherwise on Instagram, wherever we put this out, because we had some guys in here that there's a person here that gave 3 chances, and somebody else had given 3, another person given a couple, and there wasn't one person that dropped in $150.
Yeah, and didn't even want to be part.
I don't want to. I just want to give. So
wow.
That's generosity. So thank you.
Yeah, I can't say thank you enough to all of you that participated in this. It's just heartwarming, and this is you have no idea what it means to these guys that the listeners of Pipe and Tobacco Talk are participating in something like this. Thank you all very much.
There you go. Yep.
All right. Well, I think, Tim, on that note, congratulations to Brian David.
Yep. We've done enough damage for the day.
I think so. All right. Well, thank you so much for participating in episode 9. We will be on next week with episode 10 and a recap of the Vegas International Pipe Show.
Yes, sir.
Well, have a blessed evening.